Welcome back to the Octagon Opinions channel. In today's video, as you can see, we will be going over the announced International Fight Week card, headlined by Conor McGregor, the Notorious, and Max Holloway. Now, this I think is, it's good for a number of reasons. Obviously, UFC fans, UFC watchers. This year, it's not been terrible. Entertainment wise, press conference wise. But I think we have been missing this kind of a star level fight, And look, obviously we know we're getting the White House card with with Taporia, with Gaethje, with Pereira, Gan, all these kind of guys. But I don't think that we've had a fight with this level of sort of hype, with this level of kind of interest, in years actually. I mean, this is McGregor returning to the octagon after 5 years out. I mean, this is big, right? This is big. And also we've got Holloway, his opponent, who is arguably in his second prime. What we saw with Holloway beating Aldo, winning the featherweight belt, and all that kind of stuff, that was him, good. But this Holloway, and look, even though he did lose to Charles Oliveira, I'd argue, I don't even know if you can count it as a loss really, because it was kind of like it didn't really feel like a fight. Do you know what I mean? Like it didn't really feel like a fight. So I don't really know if I can say. I mean, look, obviously he did lose the fight, but I don't know. It didn't really look like he kind of lost the fight. He just looked like he got, laid upon by another guy for 25 minutes. But irrelevant. Either way, this will be a really good fight, and it's really good that the UFC have announced that they're actually going to bring McGregor back. Fingers crossed that nothing happens from now until International Fight Week. This fight's taking place on the 11th or 12th of July, obviously depending where you are. But yeah, I think this will be an absolute banger of a fight. Now there was questions about if it's going to be 3 rounds, if it's going to be 5 rounds. I'd honestly say that coming into it, obviously it's a welterweight fight, right? So both guys are going to be 170 pounds coming into this fight, and Max Holloway, we've only seen him at featherweight and lightweight in the UFC. So I think for both guys, obviously McGregor, he's probably already walking around at about 190, maybe 200. He maybe walks around at that. And again, over the past 5 years, this guy has been on benders. He's been, boozing it up, drugs, all the rest of it. You name it, this guy's done it. But I think 170 for both guys is a bit interesting because obviously McGregor, it probably suits him better because he's, 37 now, I think, 36. So he's a lot older now. He's not going to be cutting the weight down to lightweight. He's definitely not cutting down to featherweight. But for Holloway as well, it means that he won't have to necessarily cut down to lightweight, but we've never seen him really fight at welterweight. So I think it will be a really interesting fight with regard to the weight. In terms of the rounds, will we see Holloway gas out with the heavier weight in, rounds 1 and 2? Because, if you think of the amount of output that Holloway has, it maybe works better because he's a bit lighter when he's weighing in and stuff like that. But yeah, I think either way, both guys could win it. Well, maybe not actually. But I think it'll be a good fight nonetheless. 3 rounds, 5 rounds, I don't really think it makes much of a difference. I think the outcome will probably be the same either way. I think we will see Max Holloway most likely get a finish. But again, this isn't a prediction video. I will leave my predictions for closer to the time. Especially after my horror show of a prediction video for the Strickland card. We don't talk about that, but I think it'll be a really good fight. Really looking forward to it. Both guys hopefully make it to the octagon, and yeah, banger. We move on to the co-main event that has been announced: Paddy Pimblett and BSD. This is again really interesting fight, because we've seen Pimblett already this year lose the interim title fight to Gaethje. And so if he does win this fight here against BSD, some people might, himself, he'd probably argue that he deserved another title shot, or maybe even a #1 title contender shot against maybe a an Oliveira or a Sorokin. Um, I think that's all bullshit. I think lightweight, the title picture right now, I think you can only really give Armin Sorokin, uh, Armin Sorokin. I think he's the only guy who really deserves a title shot. And I think when Taporia inevitably destroys Gaethje, I think we will see Armin and Taporia fight for the title, probably later this year, maybe in November actually, Madison Square Gardens. Um, I think November MSG. I think they'll put Taporia the Armin Sorokin for the lightweight title. Um, Now, in terms of Paddy Pimblett and BSD, both guys are obviously looking for the win. BSD, if he gets a win here, again, similar to Paddy, he probably then goes and fights for a title contention fight or a number one contender title fight, or not title fight, contender fight. Um, so I could see both guys. I think whoever wins this fight is probably going to fight Oliveira. I think that's the only thing that really makes sense at lightweight just now. Oliveira obviously won the BMF belt. Is he really going to do anything with it? I don't know. I haven't really heard anything about it. You know, there was rumors he would fight McGregor for it, but that's obviously not going to happen. Um, well, at least not now. But I think both guys who win, either guy who wins this fight will be fighting Oliveira maybe, and we'll see Sorokin fight Taporia for the title later this year. Great fight. Press conference is going to be generational with McGregor and Pimblett on the same stage, screaming absolute nonsense. BSD, Holloway, everyone, no one's going to be able to understand a word either Pimblett or McGregor is going to be saying. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolute great television. We move on to Corey Sandhagen and Mario Batista. Again, great fight. Bantamweight division. Both guys, obviously in bantamweight. Just before I talk about this one, bantamweight, we see that Peter Yan, he's gone out with a back injury, or well, he's actually had surgery on his back, so he'll just be in recovery after the back surgery he's just had. So that obviously means that there's going to be a lot of time between when he comes back. I think he probably was he maybe slotted to come back in January, December. So he'll be out for a while anyway. Um, and I think did they then make the yeah, I think they made the O'Malley and Eamon Zahabi fight an interim title fight on the White House card. So obviously that's going to be great. Hopefully O'Malley wins the belt again. I don't hate Zahabi. I just think O'Malley probably does better. I think O'Malley suits the belt better, and he would probably do more as a champion. I think. Um, and yeah, I think he probably just is better for the UFC as champion. But either way, we're talking about this fight here. Corey Sandhagen, I think, um, obviously he's number four ranked at bantamweight, so he'll be trying to get back into the title picture. I think the winner of this fight could very easily go on to then get a title shot against the interim belt holder, whether that be Sean O'Malley or Eamon Zahabi. Um, and then obviously, go on from there to maybe try and unify the belt. But if Sandhagen can just stuff Batista's grappling, his takedown attempts, any of that kind of stuff, I think he'll be good. Batista is good on the feet, he's not terrible on the feet, but I think Sandhagen edges him out in that regard. Um, but yeah, again, prediction wise, I'll probably leave it for a wee bit until we're closer to the time. Um, Maybe do some stuff about the White House card in between that. Um, but yeah, really good fight, really good card. And we move on to Brandon Royval versus Leonard Kavanagh. Obviously, Kavanagh coming off his win against Brandon Moreno, and Royval coming off a loss against Manel Kape. Um, this is pretty interesting to see if Royval can kind of keep himself up at the top of flyweight, up the top of the rankings, or if we're now going to see Royval kind of not fall down the rankings, but kind of slowly make his way further down the rankings and that kind of stuff. I don't think he'll become that, at least not for another maybe year or two, maybe three. Like he's still relatively young, I think, and obviously Kavanagh a bit younger, prospect up and coming. just beat Brandon Moreno, so he'll be looking to obviously get himself into the top 3, top 4 of the flyweight rankings, maybe getting a title shot against the winner of the Joshua Van and Pantoja rematch, because I think ultimately that will be the next big fight, that'll be the next title fight at flyweight, will be Joshua Van defending against Pantoja. And then I think we will see the winner of this fight probably go on to then maybe challenge for the title, or at least fight a number 1 contender. I think Kavanagh, if he wins this, he could probably go on to fight a Tyra, or maybe Manel Cap. And Royval, I think if he wins it, he could maybe get another fight against Cap to maybe try and rectify his loss, or that kind of thing. But yeah, I think good things happening in flyweight division. It'll be really interesting to see what both these guys do, if they win, if they lose. Yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. And the last fight of the main card will be Gable Stevenson versus Elijah Ellison, some guy like that, whoever the fuck this guy is. You know, this might make me a casual. Might make me a casual, but I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't really care. I'm pretty sure the UFC are only wanting people to focus on Stevenson here. Obviously, John Jones's best mate, so he will be making his debut. I think this is pretty fucked up, though. I think one thing the UFC have done that I think is pretty fucked up is that you've got, I think I saw Robert Whittaker, he's also fighting on this card, but I think his fight is against Nikita Krylov, and that's actually on the prelims. And I just don't get it. I think this guy, Stevenson, I mean, his height coming into the UFC, like for his debut, is really not that high. And I think the UFC have cocked up here, and I think that they should switch Robert and put Robert Whittaker on the main card, because who the fuck is this guy at the bottom here, right? Like, who actually is he, right? Nobody knows. I think I clicked on his name, and I think he was actually 0-1 in the UFC, so he's an absolute nobody. And Gabe Stevenson, obviously, he'll be making his debut, and I think putting him on the main card for his debut is it's crazy. It's crazy. Just because of his association to John Jones, I think it's pretty unfair. But who knows? We might see the teachings of John Jones come through in Stevenson. We could see maybe a couple of eye pokes, a couple of fence grabs, maybe a couple of illegal knees, illegal elbows. Just anything like that. But yeah, look, it might be good for the heavyweight division. Obviously, we've seen Josh Hockett, he's really disrupted and interrupted the heavyweight division. So I think it will be pretty cool to see Stevenson also kind of come into the heavyweight picture. I mean, that is if he actually wins this fight. I think most people think he will. He probably will. The UFC don't usually give their kind of good prospects. They never really give them hard fights. So he'll probably win this fight. And it might be good for the heavyweight division to see some actual up and comers rather than the same kind of just ancient old guys just holding up the division. But yeah, I think it's a bit unfair. I think we should see Whittaker get this fight slot, because I don't care about Gabe Stevenson, and I certainly don't care about this cunt down here. I think replace these guys with the Robert Whittaker and Krylov fight, and then it's a good card. But yeah, overall, really good card. I think Luke Riley is also somewhere on the prelims. So Luke Riley and Paddy Pimblett, those two guys get to fight on the same card. That will be pretty good for the press conference and the media leading up to the fight. And yeah, I think we'll see loads and loads of clipped moments and stuff during the fight week, maybe on Embedded, that kind of thing. We're going to see lots of clippable moments. And yeah, can't wait for it. Hopefully, Mystic Mac is really back, and we can see him at least having a good performance. Because I'm not expecting him to win, but I hope he at least gets to have a good performance when he comes back. and hopefully Holloway doesn't take it too. Hopefully Holloway, takes it a little bit easy on him. I don't think he will, but either way, it'll be a great fight nonetheless. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you also excited for the fight? If you are, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Um, follow TikTok, Instagram, that kind of stuff as well. But yeah,